If you have a great story in your head and you want to turn it into a movie, this video is for you, because I'm going to talk about the 10 steps, and many of them are monetizable right now, that you can do to use AI tools to help tell your story and bring it to an audience and begin to work towards one day making your movie. This is a journey that I'm on because I wrote a screenplay over a course of 10 years that I absolutely love, but Hollywood, it's upside down. But Hollywood is never going to make this movie, not because it's upside down, but because they think it's too expensive to make and they think the audience is too small. It's a big vision movie. Now, for me, AI tools are potentially the thing that will allow me to make my movie. But we're not there yet. We're a long way away. But I can start to bring my story to a larger audience right now using tools that are currently available. Step one, you've got to start out with a written version. Ideally, a finished screenplay. And I advise you, urge you, highly recommend that you learn to write the great screenplay yourself and not try and pass it off to AI to do that. Why? Because you need to be the master of this story. It can't be an AI story, because you need to know if a story is working well, why it's working. You need to know if it's not working, why. You need to master this craft. Step two is to turn it into an ebook. And there are probably AI tools emerging that will take a screenplay and turn it into a readable kind of novel. I did it manually back in 2020. There are probably AI tools emerging right now that will do that for you. But an ebook version of your story allows you to upload it to Amazon and probably other platforms, and you can start to monetize it right now. Starting small is important. The next one is storyboard. This is number 3. The storyboard you can't monetize, but it's critical to the other steps. This is where you make all the big visual storytelling decisions for the whole movie, and you can do that right now. Casting characters, deciding what they look like, costume design, location design, color schemes, color palettes, other visual references, props, vehicles, droids, animals, anything else that matters in your story visually. Now is the time to start making those decisions and start creating the still shots in products like Midjourney and Leonardo and DALL-E and blah, 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 blah. There's loads of them, and they're all popping up and doing a great job, sort of. They all have many of the same weaknesses, but they are still getting there. Once you've got your storyboard, you can move on to number 4. And number 4 is a picture version of your ebook. It's basically a novel with pictures, and you can have as many or as few as you want in there to help tell your story. But you can sell that as well as an illustrated novel. Or, I think, for a children's book, it may even just be pictures and pictures and pictures with a little bit of text. So it depends what kind of story you're wanting to tell. But you can begin to sell it in digital format right now. 5th is one short step away from that, and that is a comic book. We know what a comic book is, doesn't require a lot of explanation, but AI tools currently will go a long way to allowing you to create that comic book version of your story, and that can be monetized right now as well. Number 6 is an audiobook, and of course we can create audiobooks right now. Now, I am highly recommending that you don't use AI voices for this, because
they are already sounding old and dated, and whatever you do will just sound sad, old, and dated if you use them.
But do highly recommend voicing it yourself or getting some voice actors to help to deliver the lines.
So that you're both narrating and also delivering the character lines, bringing it to life a lot more.
You can use AI tools to change characters' voices with other people, so that you've got a couple of actors, a guy and
a girl, for example, to do the male voice and the female voices, and then you can use AI tools to change their delivery a little bit
so that it sounds like different characters. That's great, that's fine, because that will still sound unique.
It won't sound like you're just using a sad old copied cut and paste voice that everybody else is using.
Number 7 is a visual audiobook. So you take your audiobook, and by the way, your audiobook could be as simple as just you narrating it, or next level is you narrating it with actors delivering some of the lines and of the characters, or the next level is having sound effects and sound design and a soundscape underneath the whole of the story. Now that's when it begins to feel more cinematic. And so a visual version of that is where you then stick the pictures from your storyboard and blend them in with the audiobook and you start to create something that is in video form, a video version of your story. At this point, you can start to upload it to YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Vimeo and anywhere else, websites, anywhere else you want to. You could upload it in one go, or you could start uploading it in episodes or in scenes and slowly build an audience that, again, you can monetize if you get the audience big enough. And again, if your story's any good, you'll be able to build an audience. If it's a weak story, then and you're not building an audience, go back to the start and ask, why isn't it interesting enough? Why isn't it gripping enough? Why isn't it engaging enough? That's the great thing with social media. You can get feedback and change things, particularly with a digital delivery. You can change it and upload it again. You can change it and tweak it. It's brilliant. Number 8, an animated movie. Now, we're close to being able to do this with current AI tools right now, and this is where you start creating something that is in some way looking like an animated story. And this is a great way to take your story. Even if your story isn't meant to be an animated story, do it anyway, because the process of doing that will help you build an audience, it will help you get the story out, and it will move your story forwards. And you'll learn lessons from it too, and it might surprise you how good your story looks in an animated version instead of waiting until you can do the kind of lifelike cinematic version. Number 9 is what I call blockbuster cinematic stuff. Now, we are way far away from that right now. We're nowhere near that yet, but I'm hoping that's the direction we seem to be going in, so I'm hoping that that's where we're going to end up, and I'm trusting that we will eventually get there. I talk about blockbusters like superhero movies and Transformers and sci-fi and fantasy stuff and big monster stuff and stuff that's visually very big. That's number 9, not number 10. The reason it's not number 10 is because number 10, the pinnacle, is where you have emotionally rich movies, and they're much harder. Much harder. That's the pinnacle, because then you have to have the AI tool absolutely nailing authentic, believable human performances, subtle intonations in voices, subtle facial expressions, subtle movements, subtle nuanced humanities that help to tell a story, that allows stories like The Crown or a Jane Austen movie or Forrest Gump or something that is emotionally rich. That comes from a place of the heart, and it's a very human endeavor. It, for me, is the absolute pinnacle if AI can do that. Let me just make something really clear. I don't think we will ever actually replace humans with AI when it comes to emotional and cinematic kind of movie making and TV shows. It's too human, it's too emotional. AI will never instinctively understand what it is to feel angry, to feel betrayed, to feel hurt, to feel frightened, to feel jealous, to feel enraged, to feel, all these human emotions that are so raw and real and important in filmmaking and storytelling. AI will only ever be able to artificially replicate it through observation and pattern replication. So we're not going to get rid of human actors. We need them. I honestly believe that video to AI video is going to remain an incredibly important central component that will allow us to one day create movies and TV shows with the help of AI. AI is like the turbocharged version of CGI. Once upon a time in Hollywood, when CGI was being introduced, everybody was like, oh my goodness, this is going to replace human actors. No, it didn't. All it did was enhance human performances. And that's what AI, I honestly believe, will do. A couple of bonus things that you can do as well along the way to help monetize this. One of them is to create social media channels for your characters. And they could be the characters of your movie, and ask the question, if the characters in your movie had social media accounts, what would they be posting? Now, you can do this to build up buzz as a marketing tool. It also allows you to stretch your creative wings. It allows you to create single shot videos without having to worry about continuity. It allows you to bring life into these characters without having to wait for the whole movie to be ready. And the other thing you can do is build your own website for the story. So the story itself, my movie is called Telepathy Sucks. So I need to create a Telepathy Sucks website where everything that I'm doing to deliver this story, to bring it to the audience, kind of has a base and has a home, where I have a place where I can say, this is the movie, this is the story, this is why I'm making it and who I am, and the backstory, and here are all the resources that you can go to watch it, to listen to it, to read it, to view it right now. That's an important marketing and commercial tool as well.